Hey guys. So I will go over the tenets of protagonism today. Now, protagonism, the long story short is basically they're a cult that, exists in the lore of Vendamati. Yeah, and of course they're villains, so just, telling you that right now, I'm not endorsing any of this. I'm literally fighting against it as a superhero. What are you talking about? Oh yeah, by the way, also, I have to, put a trigger warning because, this will bring up, religious trauma, because, I kind of, suffer from that. I'm sorry. You guys understand, right? So, with that warning out of the way, shall I begin? I might as well, I guess. All right, now the first tenet. All right, there's one true narrative, and you shall have no other narratives before us, and all other narratives are false and from the Dark Lord. All right, so basically, this is just a corruption of basically, you guys are familiar with the Ten Commandments, right? I mean, of course, a cult would, of course, a cult would come up with something like that. Ooh, the Dark Lord, the Dark Lord. By the way, the Dark Lord, it's Arachne, and basically she wasn't born, she was kind of made, and, basically the gods, were the ones were basically the traitors of the goddess of creation, betrayed the goddess of creation, by the way. Because they basically, tricked humanity into opening the box of evils, which was deliberate, because they wanted to commit, the war crimes, and, basically to oppress people, because basically they were, how should I put this without, sounding super offensive? Because I know somebody's gonna probably be offended anyway. Yeah, let's see. They're basically anti-human, celestial supremacists. Which, unfortunately, is going to come up, pretty soon after this, unfortunately. Anyway, the next tenet is, you are the main character, the hero in our story. Notice that it doesn't say your story. Definitely says ours. After all, it wouldn't be protagonism without, basically demanding you basically be the supporting character while selling a grand, sweeping narrative and the name of the Muse of Darkness. Of course, protagonism, alright, backstory on protagonism, basically they were the, religion of, the goddess of creation, but, the traitors of the goddess of creation basically corrupted it over a very long time and, turned it into protagonism. So, yeah. Kind of mirroring how, cults, might start off with, noble intentions and, kind of get, like cults and religions would, have, noble intentions at first, but, kind of get taken over by, corrupt people. And of course, usually those kind of people usually aren't, evil warmongering, dark, fallen celestials or whatever, but, then they're, immortal demonic priest. Yeah, that's a reference to Father Null, by the way. He's another villain. Yeah, once I, start covering, once I start covering the 22, once I start covering the 22, evil celestial warriors, I will be going over his backstory as well. Anyway, alright now. Alright, on to the next tenet, okay? I'm sorry, I'm rambling, aren't I? I apologize, okay? Alright, now the next one, demons. What, means tulpas and tulpa descendants born from human imagination, by the way. Yeah, not actual demons, by the way. Even though, of course, you can, basically, quote-unquote, big demons, with tulpamancy, but that, that doesn't make them technically true demons because, the fallen celestials are technically, true demons. Well, I suppose you could also say the same about the, the great evils, but they're kind of a little bit different than, the fallen celestials. Which, I'm gonna call the Ascended ones, yeah. Yeah, I think I'll go with that to kind of play into, the Ascended, horror entity trope, yeah. Yeah, and, let's see. Demons meaning tulpas and tulpa descendants born from human imagination, by the way, are to be your enemy, and mercy shall not be shown, for they are the servants of the Dark Lord. Yeah, it wouldn't be an evil cult without, othering people and, calling other ideas and cultures, evil. Sure, it's definitely, fun, wholesome, cult activity. Fun for the whole family. And for the whole world. Definitely nothing horrible about that. Yeah, by the way, that's a joke, you know. That's a joke. I actually mean that it definitely is. Anyway, next slide, please. Yeah, Mike, next slide, please. Thou shalt not question the one true narrative, or defy the order of the one true narrative, for it is to follow the false narrative of the Dark Lord. Yeah, don't you dare defy your golden calf, don't you dare defy your golden calf, who, you know, is definitely super duper more awesome than all the other golden calves in existence, by the way. Anyway, yeah. There you go, yeah. Yeah, remember, remember, alright, now, remember that Jehovah's Witnesses will Alright, I know that the Jehovah's Witnesses for sure definitely, you know, shun people for daring to question their narrative, huh? Alright now, I apologize, okay? I promise I wasn't a Jehovah's Witness. I promise. Yeah, I don't blame you. Anyway, next slide you go. Alright, next slide, please. You're expected to serve and to give unto us what we require and ask nothing in return, for that is what a true protagonist would do. Hey guys, remember Morningstar from, you know, Cassette Base? That's basically what he demanded. Pretty much like every cult that, you know, demands you give them all your money. Yeah, by the way, you should give me money. I need it for, like, my private jets. You know, go to your local church, pay the $1,000 seed, and, you know, get the subscription service to the cootie shot. Yeah, by the way, I know we have like 15. By the way, I need it for a private jet, and I know I have like 15 of them already, but you know, see, I need a 16th one because it's like super top of the line and necessary for spreading the good word of, you know, the one true narrative. By the way. Damn, I just acted like freaking Kenneth Copeland. Ugh. I mean, that guy is basically a devil in his skin suits, not gonna lie. In fact, I'm pretty sure, you know, when devils and cults came up in video games, I'm pretty sure I brought them up a couple times. Alright, now. Alright. I'm sorry. Let's get on to the next tenet, please. Abandoning the one true narrative for another narrative is to follow the false narrative of the Dark Lord and is a sin deserving of eternal torment in the abyss. Alright, basically the abyss is, you know, a dimension of infinite darkness where, you know, bad people go when they die. And don't you dare leave the flock, you know, because, you know, that leads to eternal damnation. You know, don't you dare to be a dirty, evil cheese touching apostate. Otherwise, you'll become infected. Otherwise, you'll become reinfected with the cooties, and yeah. After all, that's a big no, especially in Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah, look, I'm just annoyed that they keep coming to the door. Okay. I promise. Alright. Next slide, please, if you would, Mike. If you suffer or are mocked for the one true narrative's sake, you are a true protagonist against the demons of this world. Alright, remember what I said about demons earlier. They're basically, you know, topos. And, you know, topo descendants, you know, like me, like yours truly right here. In fact, part of Father Dull's, you know, interactions with me is pretty much him calling me a demon or abomination or something like that. You know, very, very, you know, pleasant fellow, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Alright, yeah, we gotta amp up that persecution complex. Super popular with cults. Alright, now, hey, turn off that phone! Sorry about that. Alright now, let's get on to the next slide, please. Mike, if you would, please. Alright, hold on for just a minute. Alright, now, here we go. All true arts are to serve us and to glorify us. Now, come on now, please. Who the heck is calling here late at night? I'm sorry. Alright now, let's go over it again. Alright, all true arts are to serve and glorify us only, and anyone who does so, anyone who does otherwise is following the false narrative of the Dark Lord. Now, we already established that the Dark Lord was made, and, is Arachne, and, her successors, because since basically, the traitors of the Consecration basically, made up the propaganda of the Dark Lord basically about her, when she started, getting her revenge on them. Because they needed, to invent the Dark Lord, as part of Protagonism in order to spread that, cult control. Yeah. Ooh, all right now. Sort of like how, cults make you afraid of, invisible evil magic people. Anyway, next slide, please. And, of course, all right now. All right now, next slide, please. All right now, all right now, here's a, perversion of the Lord's Prayer for good measure, just to, give that extra little cherry on top of, all this wonderful, nonsense. Our narrative, which rules in heaven, our kingdom come, our will be done on earth as it is in heaven, period. Cool, a perversion of the Lord's Prayer. That's wonderful. Absolutely. Repeating mantras, repeating mantras is definitely a good way to, get people to, repeating things like that as a, mantra is basically really popular with cults. Alright now, isn't it all just, super duper, all wholesome, wonderful, and totally tubular? Alright now, don't forget to join Protagonism today. And don't forget to, pay that $1,000 seed to, get a subscription service to the Cutie Shot. By the way, we furries, are the ones that invented, invented the cootie, making fun of, Protagonism by using Cootie Shot. And also the cheese touch. Of course, the trolls, decide, to devolve into, Woojax and all that. After all, Protagonism is very, very good at, portraying themselves as, portraying themselves as the Chads and, everybody else, who dares to challenge or question them as a darn dirty, evil, sinful, cheese touchers. Yeah, and, yeah. Oh yeah, all true arts are to serve us and glorify us only, and those who do otherwise are following the false narrative of the Dark Lord. Yeah, it wouldn't be alright now. Yeah, that is one of the tenets. It would not be a cult without, demanding that, all gifts and creativity, serve them. After all, if they don't, that's obviously idolatry, okay? Yeah, all you really have to do to make, stuff that's glorifying whatever cults is, just slap a little, of your God on it, every now and again. Everything else can be basically whatever, but just make sure to slap God on it. Trust me, that's pretty much how most, quote unquote, religious alternatives, things like music are made. As well as movies, okay? Yeah. Or like when Wisdom Tree was making video games, okay? Alright now. Oh, remember that Noah's Ark video game? That was basically the ripoff of Wolfenstein. That was basically made by, pirating. Alright now, I think that's quite enough for now. Alright, remember to fly like bat and shine like the moon, for we ourselves dreams are made of. Yeah, I was joking about Protagonism earlier. Don't join Protagonism, okay? Protagonism is very, very bad, okay? I've definitely seen, the horrors that, Protagonism inflicts on the world, in the lore, okay? My lore, yeah. Yeah, a lot of the, alright now, and the Ascended ones, are villains, okay? Well, I mean the ones that specifically are the traitors of the Consecration, the ones that, still serve the Consecration, they're pretty cool. Like my mentor Luna. Anyway, goodbye.